Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Newsgram. What kind of world do you want to live in? Think about that for a second. It's a broad question, but it's important today to at least give it some thought. There is no right or wrong answer. On this edition of Newsgram, we're going to delve into society a little bit because I found a woman that offers a refreshing perspective on things. Her name is Diane Drummond, and she's written a book called The Voice from the Back Row, Off the Bandwagon. It's filled with her own personal experiences and her commentary on political and social issues. Diane encourages us to think for ourselves about where events in life are leading us, to decide what we want based on our review of a broad range of knowledge. It's about what you see as the truth and not what you're told.
There's a lot of negative coming out, both from the media or the official stance and from the unofficial stances that the media says is disinformation. And in my opinion, when they're all debating about who's scientific and who isn't, it's scientific to let the scientists freely debate with each other. It's not scientific to shut somebody up or denounce somebody else, okay? But anyway, we all need to think and feel for ourselves. We need to take in information from all sources. So please don't be disturbed by, I got this off the media, so it must be wrong, or I got this off a website, so it must be wrong, or somebody's selling something, so it must be wrong. Well, maybe it is wrong, and maybe it isn't. But you're going to have to think that through for yourselves and decide based on what you know about life and what you know about yourself. And as you're doing that, it's also important to consider what direction do you want to go? What do you think the results might be? For example, you hear a lot about maybe there's going to be a cashless society and everything's on a card. And then think about it. If it's on a card, what might the results of that be? Or if it's not on a card, what might the results of that be? How would you like it to go? Not only how, but why would you like it to go that way? Do you want those results? It's important for us to do that thinking because that if we don't, somebody else is going to think for us and just do something. And we may or may not like it.
That's pretty amazing stuff. And be sure not to get caught up in the debate about a cashless society. It's just an example. Here's another one. What about online shopping? How do you feel about buying products online? It's a hot button for me because I own a small business, but I think it's convenient. It's easy. I do it all the time. Who doesn't? But until recently, I didn't stop to think about should we do it because it was just something that was being done. And now, every strip mall is filled with service-related businesses because the products are gone. Will they be back? Yeah, I like to think so. They're popping up more and more, but who knows? It really just depends on what we want. Small businesses have products that you can buy online. Do we choose to support those small businesses and shop online or go to their brick and mortar stores? Or do we shop with Amazon or other large online sellers? There are people who say the small business is the backbone of our society, and if we truly believe that, then maybe that'll be our reality. Maybe it won't. It all depends on our wants, our decisions, and our actions. So let me ask you this. Have you heard the old expression, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater?
And they're just saying, as you're tossing the tub out of the water, be careful you don't throw the baby out too, right? So that means if you want to change something and go into progress, for every advance, there is a loss of something. For every gain, there's a loss. And too often people go, yay, progress, and run headlong, pell-mell into progress without considering what they might be losing in the process. And asking themselves, do I really want to lose that? Am I willing to give that up in favor of the other?
Have we got you thinking yet? How do you see the future? And what kind of world do you want to live in?
When you have polarities, two things that are exactly opposites, and you hold both of these things in your mind at the same time without judging either of them, then pretty soon you will come to something in the middle. And where they meet in the middle is usually what the truth is. It's hard to do because you have to hold two opposite things in your mind and they're kind of conflicting at the same time, and you don't say, neither of them is untrue, but you're looking for the truth.
Before today, Diane Drummond may not be someone you ever heard of, but I hope you'll give her words some attention now that you know who she is. The foreword to her book was written by Dr. Aditi Gua, and in it she writes, each chapter stands on its own with a central message. Our thoughts are more than just a dream. When we work together, the dream can become real. Again, this is not a single issue show, but she talks about things like climate change, the illusion of entitlement, valuing our differences. And computers. Now that we have computers, we're losing our grasp on grammar. Kids just use Grammarly. Now, what about math in the age of calculators?
I think the computer is a wonderful tool, but I think we're getting far too dependent upon it, in which case it becomes the master and not the tool.
How about peace, the cycling of time, gun wars, simple storytelling, elocution and rote memory? How's your handwriting? Do you use cursive? We are definitely losing these things, but doesn't matter. And if so, how do you feel about that?
We cannot give the work to the activist to do. We cannot give the work to a politician to do. We have to do the inner work and then speak out according to what we think and feel.
I think Diane Drummond is a fascinating person. She went from not knowing what a blog was to writing one and then posting in it every day. Now her blog posts are a book that encourages us to take a deeper look at where we are headed and to be a participant in creating the world that we desire.
If we're passive and say, I want to be taken, I don't care, it'll all give me okay, it'll give me done, I don't have to think or do anything, then we are acquiescing to something we may not want.
She sees a world where life is respected, where all people thrive, where compassion, gentleness, and stewardship replace conflict, death, greed, and dominance. I like her vision. What do you think?
It's not enough to work on trying to make other people do what you want them to do. Let's change the government and make everybody do this and make them do that. That's not enough. You have to work on yourself first. You have to get yourself into the workforce, so to speak. Not the physical workforce, but the mental workforce that puts society together.
Change comes from within. Maybe it's time to get off the bandwagon and do something. And what is that something? I guess that's up to you. The Voice from the Back Row, Off the Bandwagon by Diane Drummond. It can be found online at Balboa Press, Amazon, or Barnes & Noble. And there's a link to the blog she talked about in the show's description. And I think that's really the best place to go. Gift yourself a copy of this book and then enjoy the journey it takes you on. And that will do it for this edition of Newsgram from webtalkradio.com.